In the last module, I tried to tell about the different types of food chains that are known to occur in the marine ecosystems and their coupling, that is the different process which bring about a coupling of these particular food chains in the marine ecosystems. And now I am going to focus upon some of the anthropogenic inputs which are known to occur in the marine ecosystems and what are the man-made activities which are likely to influence the diversity and the marine ecosystem as such. Now, one of uh, in recent times, there have been enough effort to see how the human intervention in these particular ecosystems can be reduced to a large extent. And there are a large number of resources or sources by which you find some of these anthropogenic inputs that are basically being released into these particular ecosystems. And ultimately, you find from the land, much of this particular material is likely to go into the coastal habitats or in the aquatic ecosystem, thereby deteriorating the water quality or leading to habitat degradation that is known to occur. Now, some of the areas which are basically being focused are the global warming. All of us are very much aware of the industrialization that has occurred and with the atmospheric pollution that is likely to occur mainly in terms of the automobile and the release of the carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gases which are known to be released in the atmosphere. And ultimately you find that some of this carbon dioxide is one of the most important source which is likely to find its way in the marine ecosystems. So with the increasing temperatures, which are, as you can see here, the global temperatures are normally known to show a very high increase in recent times, thus indicating that it is likely to have a detrimental impact on the marine life or the marine biota that is known to occur in that particular ecosystems. Although there are large number of impacts which are basically being seen as far as increasing temperature is concerned, but in the marine ecosystem, you will find one of the major impact that is basically known to be seen is the loss of habitat. And you find most of the organisms which are normally known to be living in these particular ecosystems, they are basically being subjected to death or the mortality or the migration which is likely to occur in these particular ecosystems. And one of the best example that you can see is the mortality or the death of this particular coral, that is mainly through a process of coral bleaching. If you look at most of the tropical ecosystems and the coralline habitats or the coral reef habitats which are known to occur in the marine ecosystems, they are normally considered to be one of the most fragile marine life, and any change or any anomaly in the environmental condition is basically known to affect the coral reef ecosystem in that particular environment. And this is one of the detrimental impact that is basically being seen, where you find that the bleaching of these particular corals that is known to occur with the high temperatures. And it has been also demonstrated that there is a range extension of this particular species. Like in recent times, most of the acroporids and poeciloporids have almost disappeared from that particular area, and much of the coral population that is likely to remain is mainly dominated by the porites, which are normally known to occur or contribute at present times. The second important component, which also is mainly because of the sea level rise, and here also you will find that most of the wetlands or most of the coastal wetlands which are in the near vicinity of the land-based ecosystems, which are normally supposed to be supporting a completely diverse fauna and are supposed to be potential sites as far as the marine germplasm or the marine diversity is concerned, is also being subjected to threat because of the rise in the water level that is likely to occur. So most of the wetlands you find they are likely to be submerged, and thereby such ecosystems are being subjected to alterations, and thereby the diversity is likely to be affected by both these events, that is the global warming and then that of the sea level rise. Another important component which has been added in recent times, which is being found to be very detrimental to the marine life in the aquatic ecosystem, is acidification. If you look at the basics of this particular acidification, it is the decrease in the pH which is likely to occur, and this is largely being attributed to the dissolution of the carbon dioxide that is likely to occur from the surface. And if you look at the pre-industrial period, the pH was supposed to be somewhere around 8.2, and it has been estimated or proposed that in 2100 we are likely to find the pH reducing as low as about 7.7, thus indicating that we are likely to be moving towards the acidic side as far as this pH is concerned. Now, when the acidity of the aquatic ecosystem or the marine environment is likely to increase, we are likely to have more and more problems, mainly associated with the shellfish or the shell shellfishes which are known to occur, mainly like crustacean or mollusk, or even those organisms which have got a ability to synthesize or use calcium carbonate as their body skeleton. So, with the decreasing pH, or as the acidification is likely to occur is because of the hydrogen ion concentration that is known to prevail in that particular environment, you will find that the dissolution of the calcium carbonate is likely to take place. And most of these shellfishes or the organisms which have got this calcium carbonate structure, as far as their building of the skeleton is concerned, they will not be able to assimilate this calcium carbonate, and thereby the life in terms of most of these shellfishes is likely to be affected as far as the ocean acidification or the decrease in the pH is concerned. Now, much of the anthropogenic activities which are likely to occur in the coastal ecosystems or in the coastal environment is likely to be associated with the demographic pressure or the human population. If you look at the world population, about 67% of the world population is residing in the coastal habitats. So ultimately, the land use pattern which is likely to be influenced by the coastal land use pattern that is influenced by the demographic pressure in the coastal habitats will ultimately have a huge amount of waste which is likely to be generated in the coastal ecosystems, thereby deteriorating the environment which is normally known to occur in terms of the coastal habitats. So as the demographic pressure is comparatively high, you will find in most of the cities there is a huge amount of sewage which is basically being discharged. Now, although much of this particular sewage is supposed to be treated at different level before it comes into the ocean or into the sea, however, you will find that such discharge of sewage is likely to increase the organic load and thereby invite more and more pathogens and the other unwanted species in that particular ecosystem, thus having an impact on the ecosystem functioning. Another important component as far as Goa coast is concerned is the grounded ship. In the northern Goa, we had a grounded ship which was lying in this particular coastal habitats for a substantial amount of time, and that itself has created a new habitat for some of the organisms which are living in this particular ecosystem, thus altering the biotic structure of this particular ecosystem. Another important area is the mining, which is normally known to be associated with the ore transportation, which is which is known to occur as it forms one of the cheapest source of transportation. And this ore transportation will also have an implication on the release of some of the uh, manganese compounds or the iron, depending upon the ore that is being exploited. You will find such material that is likely to be released into coastal ecosystems, thus affecting the marine life that is known to prevail in these particular ecosystems. And another important thing that you see in the coastal ecosystems, that with the advent of time, we have more and more ports coming up in the coastal ecosystems, and also the fishing jetties, which are basically being associated with the transportation of this particular material in the coastal ecosystems. So all these developmental activities which are likely to occur in the marine ecosystems or in the coastal habitats which are land-based are ultimately known to have an impact on the environment, leading to environmental deterioration. And as a result or as a consequences of this, we find there is a more frequent outbreak of the algal blooms which are normally known to occur, thereby deteriorating the water quality which is known to prevail in this particular coastal habitats, imparting different color and release of toxins which are known to occur in these particular areas, and thereby attracting some of the paralytic shellfish poisoning or the toxins which are normally known to be affecting the human society or directly impact on the human population which are living in the which are basically known to consume these shellfishes or these particular organisms. So by and large, you will find that this anthropogenic input or these sources which are likely to come into the coastal ecosystems are mainly land-based activities, and whatever land use pattern that is normally known to prevail, that will again synthesize or generate such type of material in the coastal ecosystems or coastal environment. Another important problem that has been highlighted in recent times is the coastal hypoxia and its impact on the fisheries. Now, when we talk about the hypoxia, it is basically an environmental condition where the depletion of oxygen is normally known to occur, thereby decreasing the amount of oxygen that is likely to be available for this particular fishes or the organisms which are contributing to the diversity of that particular ecosystem. Due to different types of anthropogenic activities like the industrial effluents, aquaculture practices, or maybe even the dredging operations that are normally known to occur, you will find that there is a physical alteration that is normally known to occur in the coastal ecosystems or in the coastal environments, and that leads to a depletion of oxygen in these particular water bodies. In recent times, it has been well demonstrated that in the coastal waters, the amount of oxygen that is available for the regular metabolism of these aquatic organisms has reduced marginally to a great extent, and therefore it has been demonstrated that most of these particular organisms, they normally tend to migrate to offshore as far as their habitats are concerned. And in most of the coastal ecosystems, you will find high amount of organic load, which is attracting more and more bacterial decomposition that is known to occur. Thereby the BOD content is going high, and then you find the decrease in the oxygen or the hypoxic conditions that are normally known to prevail. When such hypoxic condition is normally known to occur, you will find there are a variety of microniches or microhabitats which are likely to be developed, and this microniches or microhabitats which are likely to be developed will promote some of the denitrifying bacteria or the sulfate reduction metabolism that is likely to occur, thereby encouraging such population that is likely to occur into this particular ecosystems, and it will not allow most of the aerobic organisms or the organisms which require oxygen as far as their metabolism is concerned to survive in these particular ecosystems. So as a result of these particular activities, you will find there will be deterioration in the water quality as well as sediment quality. Again, the habitat alteration is likely to occur because the dredging, that is the fishing activity that is likely to be performed, and also the industrial effluents which are likely to occur into that particular area. And because of the shipping activity which is normally known to occur, you will also find the release of the ballast water that is likely to occur from some other locality or some other ecosystem. When it is likely to be introduced in these particular areas, you will find the invasion, that is like bioinvasion, that is likely to occur, and thereby destruction of the native species which is likely to occur in that particular ecosystem, thus disturbing the total ecosystem function which is likely to occur into that particular environment. And coupled with this, most of the coastal ecosystems are likely to be subjected to very high fishing pressure which is normally known to prevail. It has been demonstrated that all over the world, much of the ecosystems are basically being overexploited, and one of the uh, common gear that is basically being used along the worldwide is the trawling operation, which is normally known to be performed, which normally does the physical dredging in the potential fishing zones, and that is also known to be altering or causing the physical damage as far as these particular ecosystems are concerned. And over a period of time, we have also seen that there is a climate change which is likely to occur, mainly in terms of the monsoonal sequences or the global temperatures are global warming are concerned, and all this is likely to influence or act in the so that there is a reduction in the fish production in terms of the resource production that is likely to occur from the marine ecosystems. As I have already mentioned about the ballast water, does the ballast water has any effect on the fisheries? Now, ballast water is is the water which is normally being carried by the shipping industry or the ships when long distance transportation of the cargo is to be done. Whenever the ship is empty, they normally take this water from that particular port so that the stability is being gained as far as this particular ship is concerned. And as they travel or as they migrate or as they go to the destination port, they unload the cargo, and then the stability is when they upload the cargo, then they are normally known to release this particular water into the surrounding environment. And so the organisms which are normally known to be associated from a particular locality, if they are very hardy species and if they can survive that transportation time for about whatever week or 15 days, then they will contribute to they will try to invade the new ecosystems wherever this ballast water is likely to be emptied. And as a result of this, largely influenced by the tidal action and the currents, much of the coastal ecosystems are likely to be affected, or it is likely to be promoted or is facing a detrimental effect as far as the functioning of these particular coastal habitats are concerned. And as this is likely to happen, you will find that they will largely influence the recruitment and the settlement that is likely to occur in terms of most of the aquatic organisms, thus affecting the diversity that is normally known to prevail in that particular ecosystem. As we are aware that much of the fishing activity is also one of the important component in affecting or in altering the physical condition of these particular ecosystems, and you will find that much of the trawling operation or the fishing activity which is likely to be carried out and which is responsible for the harvest mortality is one of the most important component is the physical impact, that is altering the habitat as such. And the second important thing is that you find is that the bycatch that is normally known to be generated, that is, species which are not non-target species are being exploited beyond, as they don't have a commercial value, they are basically being discarded and back into the environment, but it is likely to affect the total species composition and the diversity that is normally known to occur. So as a result of such removal, unwanted removal and habitat destruction of these particular ecosystems, you will find that there will be an alteration in the relationship or the biological interactions in terms of predator-prey relations, competitive interactions, and also changes in the marine food webs. And as a result, you will find much of these coastal ecosystems are being altered over a period of time. Uh, Another important thing which I would like to make a mention here is that much of the focus as far as fishing is concerned is basically on economically important species. And most of these economically important species are highly carnivorous, and they are normally known to be at the apex level as far as propagation of the food chain is concerned. So when we try to remove this particular fish which is there at the apex level, you will find most of the top control is normally known to be removed as far as the maintenance of the diversity is concerned. And as the top control is being removed, you will find most of the herbivorous and other population that is likely to be there is known to be proliferating and is increasing as far as its biomass is concerned. And this is basically referred as something what is called as fishing down the food web. So probably if we continue at this particular rate and try to remove such unwarranted exploitation of these particular resources, probably we may end up with less commercial important species over a period of time, and that will again affect to a large extent as far as the diversity is concerned. Now, just to give you an example of this, I will try to put a hypothetical case wherein I wish to propose a sardine ecology. Sardine is one of the most important pelagic fish which contributes substantially to the total world fishery as far as fish production is concerned. And under normal conditions, that is in the conditions when the light and the nutrient is available in abundance, you would find that that particular population is normally known to be supporting the total biomass or the fish production. Now, because of the influence of the anthropogenic input and because of the conditions which are normally known to prevail, as I have already mentioned, in terms of the climate change or the changing monsoonal sequences which are known to occur, you will find there will be alteration in the physical or alteration in the biological components, thereby decreasing much of the preferred food item for this particular population and promoting some of the growth of these heterotrophic flagellates which is normally known to occur into these particular ecosystems. And this has got again an impact in terms of the collapse of this particular fishery, or there could be a migration of this particular fishery which is likely to occur, ultimately having an impact on the reduction of the fish population which is known to occur in that particular region. Just to highlight one of the study which we have conducted, if, as I said, that the physical damage that is normally known to cause is somewhere to the tune of about 68% in the study which we have conducted along the coast of Goa. And we have also noticed that about 89% of the juveniles and fishes are normally known to contribute to the bycatch. And out of 196 taxa which we have represented or found, about 174 taxa are normally known to contribute to the bycatch or to the catch which is not normally considered to be economically important. And such a pattern, if we continue at this particular pace in the exploitation of these particular resources, we are definitely going to have an impact on the recruitment and the ecological relations that are normally known to be performed, thereby affecting the ecosystem function. Thank you.